So this text 656 says, if one donates the fruit of this vow to his parents, he delivers his entire family and becomes free from his debt to his father. Debt to the father, of course, everyone, when a son has a debt to his father, but when one becomes a devotee, of course, he's absolved from all his debts. That's told by Devarshi Bhutatin in Impratinam, in 11th canto by Rishi Narad. That Pitri and Rina and Deva and Rishi, Pitri and Rina, and living entities, if one becomes a Shuddha Bhakta, sometimes one sees in their chart, there are particular constellations and stars that indicate some karma with father, debt from last life. In this life, when one is born as a son, he has a debt in this life to also produce a son, get married and produce a son. That's part of paying his debt back. And also being a good son and so many other things. Pujas and doing shrad and pinda for his deceased father. But also producing a son to continue the dynasty. That's part of the debt. And even looking after and maintaining that also may be there. But if one becomes a devotee, then he's free from all those debts. So maybe he doesn't have a son, but then he's a devotee, so there's no debt. But then, carrying over from last life, there may be a debt from the father. It's called father's debts, daughter's debts, sister's debts. They have these combinations like this. And then there are particular prayashchitta and pujas you do to absolve that. You've heard about this?
Rain, that is called rain.
Yeah, Rini.
Rain mocha. So Narasimha Stuti is that.
Yeah, Rini Mocha means free from the debts to the ancestors. So there's different pujas and stotrams and whatnot you do. So the whole in one shot is to chant Hare Krishna, take Gaudiya Vaishnava Diksha, and go back home, back to Godhead. Automatically, if you go back to Godhead, you liberate 11 generations of your ancestors. Ananda Kanda Bhagavan Ki Jai. Text 656. There is nothing more sanctified than this great vow. In the Shastra, no other vow has been mentioned as equal to the vow of Vijay Brat. Did you hear that? There's so many bratas, bratotsavas, so many fastings, and there's Chandrayana Brat for 2 weeks, there's Chaturmasya for 4 months, there's Harivasar for 1 day. There's so many bratas, Payo Brat for 1 year. That Devahuti, I think, did this Payo Brat. And who is the Aditi, the mother of Vamanadeva is Aditi and Kashyap. But there's these brats of 1 year and 1 month and 4 months and 1 month and 2 weeks and 1 day. But of all those bratas that are mentioned, because they're all mentioned in Shastra, no other vow has been mentioned equal to the vow of this Vijay, Mahadwadasi Brat Ki Jai, which is today. It's called Shravan Mahadwadasi also. So we're all fortunate, we're gathered together to hear about this vow and to try to observe it with the good wishes of each other, and we're all praying for each other's success in the undertaking of this vow. And of course, to begin any vow we begin by offering prostrated obeisances at the feet of Sri Guru and begging for Sri Guru's mercy and blessings that we can fulfill the vow. So if one is in the presence of the Guru, then that's all the better. But we are begging our Gurudev. It's not that implied that has to be done like that. Obviously one has already paid obeisances upon seeing the Guru, we would hope so. So Guru Sangha is the access to Krishna's mercy. So all these vows and bratas and whatnot, when one does yagyas and pujas and homas in their house, then the Guru is the Brahman. The Brahman is the Guru for the Varnas. And he comes and he does. So when the Brahman comes, all the people offer obeisances to the Brahman. And then he worships Ganesh. And then they do puja to the Brahman. They worship the Brahman with flowers and rice and arti to the Brahman. Then he sits down and conducts the puja. Then he collects his dakshina, his donations. And then that's the worship is completed. Krishna is pleased. and then the phal or the fruits or result comes. So this is the same line of thought. So that concludes. There's no more there's nothing more sanctified or purifying than this vow. Pavanataram. Na pavanataram kinchit. Atak param ihochyate. Vijaya bratatulyam cha na param paripatyate. There's nothing more sanctified than this great vow. And in the Shastra, no other vow has been mentioned as equal to the vow of Vijay Brat. Jai Ho. Text 658 says, Prapya Vishnu Paramarajan. Anyone who observes this great vow with devotion goes to Vishnupur. Vaikuntha Dhama ki, Rajadhama ki jai.